I want to know. Like, I think that's why I'm very just point blank, and I shoot just straight. Is because number one, why not? And number two, like, the taboo conversations about sex or the taboo conversations about, you know, things that you're not supposed to talk about, right? I want to talk about. Because why not?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. Hello, hello. And this is episode 20. And, to kind of, celebrate it being episode 20, we're in a new location, a new spot. And, I'm so excited to be at this point, and even more excited to be sharing that special number 20 with none other than Sillymomm. So I'm super, super excited about tonight. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about some stuff, so yeah.
Nice. So am I. And I want to let you all know who are watching. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Just a quick reminder, the Patreon is still available. If you'd like to check that out, that'd be really, really awesome. You can subscribe for just $1, so please check that out if you like what I'm doing and the content that I'm creating. And as always, just thank you for watching and your continued support of my content, whether you subscribe on YouTube or otherwise, watching on Twitch, whatever. Thank you so much for being here and for tuning in. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm talking with Sillymomm. We have a lot of ground to cover, and I'm really, really excited to dive into it, and I hope you all will be too. So, silly. We haven't really talked a whole lot, actually. Like, we only recently, connected. So... Like this is as much of an opportunity. Like already having stuff. This is as much of an opportunity to get to know you, as is for probably many other people as well. So yeah, I would love to know. Yeah, I'd like to kind of start things off real chill. And just a quick question. So what was your initial thought of me when you first interacted with me? Like, what was your first thought about me? What was your first impression, I guess?
Well, that you were had a really good voice, and yeah, your mic sounded really good.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it is it's the index. So I imagine most people have the index, I would imagine. So I don't know,
it just sounds really clear, and you just sound really good. You just sound like you have a really good voice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, I've worked really hard on this voice, I guess. Oddly enough, But yeah. My first impression of you was I think this individual is very, very interesting. I think there's a lot to them that many people don't really grasp. You seem like someone who has a good heart, but probably is often misunderstood by some people. And I think I think that's I find those people to be the most interesting, the people who I think who are the most genuine and put themselves out there are the most interesting kinds of people to me. So I was really, really interested in getting to know you, and just learning more about what makes you who you are. So yeah, very, very positive impression, and I was so excited to actually talk to you and at Saturday and stuff, and just kind of shoot the shit.
Yeah. Aw, that's very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely feel very misunderstood, but it's not really anybody's fault for that, because it's what you're putting out there, right? You can only see so much of what you're putting out there, so yeah. That's why we have these things, to sit down and talk about them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I sound like such a fucking mom. Holy shit.
I mean, well, it's kind of in the name. So, if people were expecting something different, then, they weren't really paying attention, But yeah, like I do think it's super important to be open-minded, and people really do seem to miss that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. Now we're even. Now we're even.
It's this room.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, I was super interested in getting to know you, and so let's just kind of start from like the very beginning, which is usually a very good place to start, as they say. So who are you? Like who is Sillymomm? Like at the heart of things. Like, how would you describe yourself if you were you were in front of people, and sharing who you are about people? Like, how would you describe yourself in a couple sentences?
I think so I feel like within the character, right? Because I feel like you have a character and then you have your IRL self. It's really hard to separate that when it comes to content. But it kind of is a show, right? So myself, which I don't like to disclose my name ever, but my real self is very similar to Sillymomm. But myself is very shy, in some ways, and so Sillymomm is like this kind of ultra over-sexualized person, if you will, character, to everything that I'm not in real life. So for me, I am the same. I'm very on your heart. Like, my sleeve is on my heart type of deal. What you see is what you get. But in real life, I am a lot more picky at who I talk to. Kind of selective on who I spend my time with. And very just almost hermited. I don't go out much. I don't do any of that. But Sillymomm is everywhere type of thing. So it's really funny how, you think of Mickey Mouse, right? You know Mickey Mouse is this bubble of blah blah blah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then when you think of Mickey Mouse as the person, which the character, but the person inside the Mickey Mouse, which sounds super fucking gross, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? That person is very shy and maybe has a dark voice or whatever. So it's breaking that character is very difficult at times when you're on the spotlight, if you will. I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah. And have you been in the spotlight for a long time? Has it been a certain length that has kind of caused that divide?
I have been doing content since 2019. I've been streaming since 2019. And I think just within this year is when I kind of really blew up. When I started dancing, basically. And when I switched to my content being more of a mature audience is when I blew up. So I think with the blow up, that became spotlighted, and it was really weird. I was like, what? No. But yeah.
So you have a pretty good sense of what it's like to be be small time, I guess you could say, and then just kind of blowing up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, like
I mean, I spent 4 years, a small time. I mean, over in Mixer, I had probably 10,000 followers. So, I mean, I was still somewhat, like,
you said
known,
Mixer?
but I wasn't, like...
Oh, wow. You I don't know anyone who had a chance to, like, actually, like, use Mixer. Was that where you started?
I was on Mixer. That's where I started, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and I was always using a VTuber avatar. I never used my real self. I did a few times just to do it, but like I never. Yeah. So I was always hiding behind an avatar of some sort, but it was a cartoon version of myself. And then when I found VRChat is when I discovered furry fandom.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's I do like let me ask about your name. We'll go in that direction. Let me ask about like what actually like makes like why the name Sillymomm? Like where did that come from?
Well, as funny as this is, when I first started streaming Mixer, I was streaming Fortnite with my child.
Oh.
And it was a way for me, their dad and I had a very weird relationship, so it was a way for me to talk to my children when they were with their dad, so they could tune into the stream and talk to me.
Interesting.
So I would play Fortnite, and then when they would be at their friends or their dads or whatever, they would turn into stream. And I had a different name back then. I was still Sillymomm, but it was different. And then, yeah. And then, so they were the ones that were like, you should start streaming. Like, as streaming. So they were the ones that started me doing that. And then, it just kind of all went from there. I was streaming GTA. I was streaming GTA.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a different time in my life for sure.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
So that's interesting. So it seems like your children had a pretty big influence on you even getting started in streaming in the first place. Like what did you think about the idea? Because I don't want to like, you know, I don't know how comfortable you are sharing your age or anything, but like, you know, you have two kids, two kids?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like, so what was that like? What did you think of the whole idea of streaming in the first place? Like when they suggested it, like I can't imagine, you know, like, you know, again, I don't know how old you are. I don't want to guess. You're welcome to share if you want to, but like what was going through your mind when they were suggesting that to you? And
I had honestly no idea what they were talking about.
of course, yeah.
I had a Xbox. I had an Xbox and a TV monitor. And that's how I started streaming from my headset.
Yeah, the classic headset and console. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. Because back in the day, I didn't realize it was that easy. And now I'm like, you walk into this room and it's probably $15,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. This is the most expensive room in my house. It's like ridiculous how much money in 4 years I've invested into this, but it's so worth it. Like, yeah, I was doing barbering. I've been barber for 14 years, and I was doing barbering and cosmetology, and nothing had me more passionate than that until I found streaming. Until I found content creation. And then, yeah, everything just kind of like, I was tired of like doing the whole mothering, nurturing thing to my community, and I was just like, I'm gonna just be lewd. one day.
So you decided to be
I'm like-
lewd with the name Sillymomm.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, with that name, you're like, oh, I'm tired of being nurturing, but I'm going to be lewd now. So I'm wondering what you expected to be.
Okay, so with my content switch, it wasn't like I really, okay, so I'm kind of missing steps here. So
Okay.
I did the streaming thing, and then I got injured for a year and a half. I was bedridden for a year and a half, and so I didn't know what was going on with my body. The doctors couldn't figure it out. So I was bedbound, and I started doing TikToks, and that's when I couldn't stream. So I stopped streaming. I started doing TikToks, met a whole bunch of people, and built this community of like. I stopped, obviously my kids grew up and they got over like playing with their mom on games and whatnot. And this, you know, this is in a 4-year span, right?
Right.
And during the TikTok stuff, I was fucking bored, and I'm like, this is so boring. Just copying all these videos. I want to get back streaming. And then I had a surgery, and that flipped my world back right into, I was 100% recovered, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna start dancing, and I'm gonna change my content completely. So I made an announcement. I shut my server down because I didn't want anybody related to the TikTok world being underage in my server. I made a whole new server. I, made an announcement like, hey, I am switching my content. If I find out you're, underage or whatever, you're out. Put 18 over everywhere and rebranded.
And this was after your surgery. So before your surgery, you were just streaming on an Xbox?
No. Before my surgery, I had graduated to like, slowly but surely within that 4-year time span, I graduated to like an actual PC.
Okay.
And then once I found VR, I realized this PC can't handle it. I need a new PC. So I graduated to 2 PCs. And so I kept one for streaming and one for gaming because the VR, running so much. I was like, there's no way. Let's just make it smooth. I want, good quality content. Mm-hmm. So I kept both PCs, and then yeah, it's just like, you think about, oh, for better content, I'm going to buy this, or better content, I'm going to buy that, or better content, I want to sound better, or this or that. So it all just kind of adds up. And then you realize you're like 20 grand in the hole, and you're like, holy shit, this is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
But, it all started with an Xbox.
I think most streamers, I think most people who start streaming, they start really small. They start off with like the console, or they start off with like the no cam type stream with the low end computer, the low end, all low end everything basically. And then as they kind of grow into it, they evolve, and they understand what it means to them, and they become committed to the whole enterprise of what it means to be a streamer. So okay, so that's interesting.
And it wasn't until I was partnered that I was like, I'm gonna do this.
So you became partner before you...
It wasn't not... well, before I got partnered, I was injured. So I spent the last year or so really just busting ass in content because I had been in bed for so long. And I was still kind of pulling money in through like odds and end jobs or whatever. And yeah. Then when I got partnered is when I was like, I'm doing this. This is my job. But you always have a fallback because like, it's important to have that fallback. And that's what I wanted to implement to my kids. I'm like, you can have your dream job no matter what, but just have a fallback. Make yourself like, you know, got that cushion.
Always have a plan B.
Like choice A didn't work, so I got this choice B, you know? Yeah.
So you start, okay, let me see if I have this timeline right for everyone who's watching this. So you start streaming on an Xbox. You would you be able to explain, let me try to break this down first. So you start streaming on an Xbox. You did that first, and then you ended up bedridden. And while you were bedridden, you were doing TikToks.
Well, kind of. Kind of. Okay, so okay. I kind of skipped over, and I kind of do that with ADD.
Okay. That's fair.
Started off with the Xbox, and then graduated to a PC.
Right.
So between when I started and when I got injured, I was at one PC. And then Mixr shut down. Mm-hmm. I got injured. I found VRChat. Then I upgraded to a 2 PC setup. Because I realized VR would not run and I could not stream VR. I was still injured, but I still wanted to stream when I was feeling okay for the day. I would stream from bed.
Gotcha. Okay. And that was in VRChat. Yeah?
Okay. That was in VRChat. So then I was like, I really can't stream laying in bed. It's way too difficult. I started doing TikToks because I wanted to keep my name out there. It was like, I can't just like not exist for a year. That's just not good content creation. So like,
right.
I did TikToks, and then that way I could record and take as long as I needed to record. It was fun and all, but it just was not. It just brought in a lot of fucking kids in my community, and I was like, over it. I'm like, I don't need to be anybody's babysitter. And I found myself in Discord calls all day long, and I was like, I'm not getting paid for this.
Oh gosh.
This sounds so selfish, but I gotta make a fucking income here somehow. Like, you know what I mean? I got 2 fucking kids to feed. Like, I really need to like make this work for my family. So I just shut everything down. I burnt myself out is what happened, truly. I was like doing community nights and then game night, and then, you know, I had this like therapy session, kind of, if you will. It was just a lot. And I was tired all the time and worn out all the time. And I'm like, this is not worth it. You know, nothing is worth your sanity. So like, I stopped doing that, shut the Discord down, and then got surgery. And then I discovered I'm gonna fucking move my body all the time, and I'm gonna dance. And so between me and 2 other people, we were literally the only dancers out there on VR. And
this is what year?
I started obsessing. This was last year.
Okay.
This is the beginning of last year. I started obsessing. I wanted dance lessons. I wanted to invest my knowledge into dance. And I'm so glad I did, because it brought a lot of like calm to myself. It made me feel healthy. I was sweating. I was getting exercise. I started to notice my numbers were going up and up and up and up. And I started doing a lot of lewd stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I met my best friend, and she was a little hoe, and we became... Oh, she's like, you get paid. And I was like, what? What? And she broke me within 3 days. I was like, I met her and became the person that I am now.
Wow.
And I always tease her. I'm like, I owe you like a lot of my I owe you like 50% of my commission or something. Like, yeah. I just went from this wholesome TikToker to this like slut.
But it was worth it though. the move was worth it.
Yeah.
So you find
kind of like
that's like the whole like evolution of like where you came from and what you're doing now.
Yeah, my evolution.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So like, were you okay? Like, I mean, like, what was it an easy transition to just kind of like go from being wholesome to just actively doing lewd content? Because, like, I mean, if you're already doing the positive stuff or like the wholesome stuff, like, how does that, like, how did that like affect you, if at all?
I hit a brick. I hit a brick wall. I was just like, I'm done. One day I was just like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I'm burnt out. My mods are burnt out. So many people are burnt out to keep this community running. I'm tired. I made a big announcement, said I'm shutting this Discord down. It was down for like maybe 4 months, 5 months. It was still there, but it was just empty. Like, I changed all the channels, made an announcement, and it was like, I'm done being everyone's mom. Like, legitimately, I'm being your mom, and I'm tired.
Which is literally every mom.
Content creators,
literally like every.
Okay. The biggest thing with content creation, right? And then like my community this, my community that, my community this, my community that. I'm like, I don't technically really have a community because I burnt myself out so bad from it that I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I provide content, but that's really it. Like, don't get me wrong, I have viewers that are like very regular, and I appreciate them a lot. And they've become friends to me, and a lot of my friends are friends of friends and blah, 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 whatever. But when it comes down to actually having like a community where we do like game night and do-do-do and do-do-do and do-do-do, no, my community is my mods. We do like movie night every Thursday that I don't flake. You know, like, my community is my mods. And I feel like that's okay to not have a community. That's okay to select who you want to interact with because there's weirdos or whatever. Like, I don't feel like enough people do that. I feel like a lot of content creators burn themselves out from trying to run a community. And, you know, good on them if they don't actually burn out. Good on them. Maybe they have a lot of, I don't know how they do it, but I couldn't do it. I was too tired. I'm 43, by the way. So, like, yeah.
Yeah. I honestly
maybe if I was younger.
Well, I mean, like, I think it is a bit of a different mindset, like, when it comes to like having a lot of energy to give to other people. Like, when you're young, like, all you like, I think a lot of young people have their people, like they have the people that they surround themselves with. That's where they get their energy from. That's where they feel happiest with. Yeah. And so I think it becomes very easy for a lot of people who end up being content creators and streamers who form communities because their community becomes their friends. And like when they're young, that's generally
that's true.
Yeah. I think I think that could be like a reason why.
I just don't have that many.
Yeah.
Yeah, the community itself was a great idea, but it was a lot of like, I was doing like Friday nights we would get together and just talk about our week, and like I would try to give advice, and it just became into these full-blown therapy sessions, and people would call or like message me and be like, hey, what do I do about this problem? And then it was just problem, and I'm like, I can't be everyone's therapist. And that's the biggest,
yeah, of course,
like you can't be anyone's therapist. Like you have to really find that line. And even in like real life, like you don't even need to be a content creator for this, but like if you have Joe Schmo over here coming over every day saying, hey, I've got this issue, you're noticing a pattern. This person obviously needs some help, like more than you can provide. So that was like, just like that part was like a lot of learning, you know, for me. But and that's why I got so burnt out, because there was a lot of Joe Schmoes.
Yeah, which I don't blame you. Like you've like doing the TikToks basically attracted all of those Joe Schmoes, and like I'll be the first to say like I am absolute garbage when it comes to community stuff. I'm bad. I'm bad at it. I just like. I only have so much energy to give. I'm a very I think I'm very similar to you. I'm very much a hermit. Like I prefer to be by myself most of the time.
Same.
So it's very much like I will try. I feel like I have to, as like a, you know, as like the head of, you know, the people who watch me. Like I want to bring people together, so I feel obligated to, like, you know, try to build something or build a community. But it's really hard. It's really difficult because you can't make people do things. So, you know, it's yeah. And again, I would just rather be by myself.
And you only have so many spoons to give, right?
Yeah.
You take all these spoons and give them to people to get fed, but you're not feeding yourself.
Exactly.
And it's your time to feed it was my time to feed myself. You know, it was literally, I was like, it wasn't like I just turned on the light bulb and I was like, I'm going to be lewd now. It was more or less like, I'm going to find who I am. And that's the biggest switch. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go make porn. It was just like, it was just like switch a Rooney, you know, like I'm gonna go find who I am. Like I'm gonna go discover whatever that is, and I'm gonna start leading my own life. And you know, it was nice. It was nice to have that, because it was just like everything just kind of like
melted away,
you know, dissolved.
Yeah, you became like your own, like you weren't burdened by the weight of all of the people that were relying on you, and now you could just kind of be who you are and express yourself the way that you feel most comfortable. And you know, people watch, they watch. If they don't, they don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I mean, people like with the name Sillymomm, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if people like that's my mommy right there. Oh.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I'm sure
They do.
But obviously, like, you still remain your person. You don't engage like very like personally with that sort of thing. Though it's, you know, it's funny, it's interesting, you know, it's a nice kind of thing that you and your people, your regulars have. But that's really it, right? Would you say?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I like to live a little privately, right? You see these big names, like, let's just say Ninja. Ninja doesn't have a fucking community. He's not out there playing with other women. He is very separate with a lot of shit. And I find that, like, really intriguing. I want to know more about Ninja because he's so private. And I think that's a lot where people don't do. They're up in their community, they're talking to people, they're, you know, staying in Discord till like 11, 12 at night with all these random people coming in and out. And it's just like, yo, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
That shit makes me tired.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so much my
know?
mindset. That's my mindset. Like, I could be, there are so many other things that I could be doing. Like, I could be having time for myself.
So many things
Yeah, like, I don't want to spend my energy giving that to like a bunch of other people. As much as I'd like to like connect with people more, I'm very, very selective about that. Just like you are with that sort of thing. I'm extremely selective about my time, and I hope people like understand that about me and understand about you. It's it's like some of us are just
Yeah.
really introverted, despite us being, you know, kind of out there. Sometimes, well, I'm lewd, but not to your degree. You outclass me in a very big way, but I can be relatively lewd, but like, yeah, like I like to have my time and my personal time, because, you know, I think we're both introverts in that way.
Same. I am sorta, kinda, like, hello? I don't know how to explain it.
You can be, you can
not
play the
introverted,
extrovert. You can play the
But
extrovert.
I can burn out of people really quick. I need that nighttime quiet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm old. I crack in the morning. Like, I get up in the bed and I'm like cracking, like going, what the hell just cracked in me? You know, like, I need my peace and quiet. And I think that's what's funny about the content that I produce, and then me as a human. It's like, I want to be this sexified bad bitch, and I feel like I am in real life too. But there's degrees that I'm not. That Sillymomm is. So I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It certainly does. So let's talk about VRChat. Let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, I want to dig into the actual, like, you know, Fansly stuff and all that. But let's talk about just VRChat, since that's kind of where everything really started with you. So with VRChat, how did you first discover VRChat, and yeah, like, how did you get into it, and what made you end up staying?
So I had a friend that I had become very close with, and I met him on Mixr, and we were like inseparable. And one day he just like stopped fucking hanging out, and I was like, where the hell did you go? And he's like, oh, I'm playing this new game. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, it's a new game, like, it's called VRChat. And I'm like, okay, give me lowdown. And he was very selective, because at the time, I think he was trying to discover who he was, right? And so he didn't really want to tell me much. And then found out, oh, I can get on desktop and play? What? So I ended up joining him, and he was trying to discover his sexuality. So he wasn't really sure if he wanted me around, because he wasn't even sure himself who he was. And I was like, bro, gay is hot, okay? Like, I don't mind gay at all. Like, I will be there rooting for you. Like, whatever you need, I will be there. Just, I want to fucking hang out. And he reluctantly invited me around. And I started hanging out with, like, the humans. And I just found they were really cliquey. And so then I was like, look at all these cute little animals. Like, that's adorable. I want to be like you. And then they were very welcoming. So then that's what transpired the whole thing. And then I was hanging out one day in a world, and this person came in with this avatar, and I was like, yo, that's fucking gorgeous. Like, it was my original OC, and it was a Arcanine, but it was like a cat version, kind of. And that's when I got the whole Arcanine look, was from an original avatar that I bought. I commissioned the artist to take off the shelf, basically.
Oh, okay,
and
okay. So
yeah,
the color scheme
that
is
was
based
back
off of
in-
Arcanine? Like, is this avatar based off of that color
Yeah.
scheme? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then so that's how that all happened. And then I became as addicted as they were. Then I would think I was on desktop for like 2 weeks, maybe, if that, and then I got a headset. And then by like month 4, I was in full body.
Wow.
And that was back in 2021.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems
I think.
like most people that I've had a chance to talk to and have on the podcast have like they basically got their start like in 2021. Like 2021 was like a big year for a lot of people, and like 2022 also.
Yeah.
But like 2021 was like where a lot of people kind of got going, and it's
A lot of people originated, yeah.
Like, where the fuck was I?
Unless you're like major OG, like Shocks. I think Shocks was like 2017.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah.
So you met a friend who got you into VRChat, and you ended up liking I guess like the furry community, I guess you can say, essentially. And because you kind of vibed with them and stuff. Interesting. So
Yeah.
given that you said you're 46.
No, not 46. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
43.
43. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
No, don't give me more.
Yeah,
Christ,
I know
almost
that
50.
I
Holy
know
fuck.
that feel. I know that feel. I don't want any more too. I'm sorry. All right. So that was like you were in like your early 40s. We're still in your early 40s, and you discovered the furry community, but you had never heard about that before then.
Yeah. No.
So like, were you not very much on the internet at that
I knew
point
nothing.
in time? Really?
I knew nothing. I knew nothing about kinks. I knew nothing about nothing. Literally. They had to teach me everything. Like, I remember sitting in a world with some friends, and they were literally talking about vor. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, they were trying to teach me everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, teach me it all. What do you guys like talk about? What is a dom? What is a sub? What is the top? What is the bottom? I knew nothing. I was very like nothing. Nothing.
So
I am a
chat
naive
basically
person.
VRChat basically showed you the underbelly
it
of the
showed me.
internet.
Yeah, it did.
Why am I not surprised? And like it's funny for me because like I'm only like a year in. Like I'm like a little over a year into VRChat. Like I haven't been on the platform for very long. And like I wasn't even on desktop myself. So like my first experience of VRChat was in a headset. And it's like there are so many different kinds of people and that inhabits this platform, and the fact that you ended up running into the furry community like very early on, and then they essentially taught you like all of the stuff that like most people know.
I remember my friend in a world, and he had the pin, right? And he was like top, bottom, submissive, dominant. Like all the, like he would literally outline everything, and we were talking about everything because I wanted to know. I didn't know, so I wanted to know everything.
Why did you want to know everything?
Because it was intriguing. Like, it's a really intriguing topic. Like, you know, all these things that you're not supposed to talk about, like, I want to talk about. I want to know. Like, I think that's why I'm very just point blank, and I shoot just straight, is because, number one, why not? And number two, like, the taboo conversations about sex, or the taboo conversations about, you know, things that you're not supposed to talk about, right? I want to talk about. Because why not?
And like go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to know. Like, I wanted to know what was so intriguing about being in a fursuit. What does it feel like? Like, what this anamorphic, you know, animal, so to speak, like, it feels different. and it feels cool, and it like I really feel like I'm playing a character, but at the same time I'm myself. So.
And something you feel comfortable in. Interesting. How long did it take you to kind of get to the point where you were certain that, being in an anthropomorphic, oh gosh, what are they're called? Oh, it starts with a W. Like.
This?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Ween?
Yes. Oh gosh, I should remember this because I interviewed Red. I should remember the name.
Wicker?
Yeah, Wickerbeast. Yes. Yeah. Like I should know this by now. But like,
okay.
Yeah. How long did it take you to like, I guess, like figure out that like humans are like, but I prefer to be in the anthropomorphic, type stuff, and like finding like your personal identity. Really?
Well, that was instant. Yeah, like when I met the furries, that was when I knew that's what I wanted to become. I just didn't know what I wanted to become. So I went through about 58 avatars that were customized to me before I found the Ween. And I was one of the, in fact, I will fight my friend on this, but I was the one and only Ween on Twitch. Really. I think I might still be. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, I offered to buy this base model from the girl that made it to be exclusively mine because I was really partial to that idea. But she never gave me a number, and I'm like still really dedicated to that idea, Like I wanted her to be exclusively mine. I want to own her. I want to give her adoption papers. And I want to put a collar on her. Owned by myself.
Yeah. Like you actually want to be the mom.
I want to be the mom of myself. Yeah. That's a scary thought.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. So it was pretty instant. So I guess, what is it about the furries, about the furry community? I heard it's called like the clubhouse. Like, is that like a general term that people use? I've heard it. I've never heard that. I've heard the furry community being described as the clubhouse.
I've never heard that.
Never heard that? Okay. So, again, I'm still learning things. So I guess what was it?
Yeah.
So we'll just say, like, what was it about the furry community that really clicked with you? And like, I guess specifically, like, what was it about them that kind of like, yeah, these are my people.
The openness and acceptance, honestly. It honestly just depends on who you meet, truly. I mean, it's like anything you do, right?
Right.
You could have a bad experience in anywhere you go. But for me, it was the acceptance of just who you are. They didn't give a fuck. And that was really nice. So, yeah. I haven't had a bad experience, really.
Did you have a bad experience with people outside of that community?
No. No.
But the people that you encountered in the furry community just really like, yeah, this is it. This is where I belong. Nice. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to ask those kinds of questions because not only am I curious, but like I think it's important for people to like get a better understanding of it because like I'm not in the furry community, so I don't know.
Yeah.
People
I'm
recently.
super fucking new to it though, so I don't have that much under my belt to say. Like
Okay.
VRChat is really toned down to the actual furry community, like furry fandom. Like I'm going to my first furry convention in 2 weeks,
Anthrocon.
and I've never been to one. Yeah. So like I'm excited because I don't have any experience in that at all. So like maybe I will eventually get a fursuit. I don't know. I don't think it's in my cards anytime soon because they are like a fucking card.
Yeah, they're expensive from what I've heard.
And I know of a lot more things that I need other than a fursuit.
Yeah.
Maybe a head.
Yeah.
I want a cute outfit. I do not want to be all up in that fucking fur. No, thank you. That's too thick. But like maybe a head. Make me a head, Then I can go to conventions and I can actually be this.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be.
And I could pair it with like a cute skirt or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, those are expensive.
Quite. So, what is it that what's something that you like about VRChat and something that you don't like about VRChat, or you wish that could be better about the platform?
Well, the game itself, I mean, this is not a game. That's number one. This is like...
Yeah, I call it a platform.
A social media.
Yeah, it's not much of a game, yeah.
It's literally a walking... I don't know how to say this, but it is literally a Disneyland or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. Anyways, what's
like
one
a theme
thing
park.
that I wish that there was more of is some goddamn facilitation on age. I think this needs to be an 18 and over platform for sure. There's way too many people that are too young to be in here. Do not recommend this game for younger age at all. 18 and over, that's where I think. Also, something that's really fucked up is the security of it. Making sure people are not engaging with kids or underage kids. That shit is sick. Like,
Agreed.
and there's a lot of that.
Yeah. It's a great place for people, for predators to find
absolutely.
children. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Very, very worrisome.
So that's probably my biggest my biggest worry for this platform is that if they don't get their hands on some kind of cybersecurity, they're gonna eventually ruin it for everybody, because there's just so many open ways to interact with kids that don't need to be here, and they know that. And so people that are in this COVID area or whatever have you, they can't leave their house. Oh, perfect. They're on the internet. Perfect. There's a kid. Oh, perfect. So yeah, that's why everything for me is under a paywall. Like, you'll see my Twitter isn't risky. Like, people are like, why is your Twitter even 18 over? Because I don't want anybody that's not 18 and over on my fucking Twitter. Right. Yeah. I talk about such shit, and it's all behind a paywall, So I try to be really private with that stuff. I try to be like, just super careful on who I interact with. who I spend my time with, that kind of stuff. Because you just never know. You really don't.
Yeah.
And the protection of, like, that kind of stuff is huge to me because of my own kids. So, like, yeah. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Like, so would you, like, okay, so let me play devil's advocate for a little bit. The way that most platforms grow is, one, by being free, and two, by being, accessible to anyone. Just anyone who has access. If it's free, if it's easily downloadable, then anyone can have access to it. That's typically how platforms usually get off the ground. It's usually, it's not typically, the older generation that adopts these sorts of newfangled thingamajigs and VR and stuff. It's the young people typically.
Right.
So if so again, obviously I'm completely in agreement with, there should be some sort of security that doesn't allow children to be integrated with older circles. There needs to be a way to kind of like separate the two. Yeah. So like that's just kind of like this is just me playing devil's advocate. So my thinking with regards to that would be, well, perhaps like what if there were like a VRChat version that was for kids, like but that would be really, that like the thing about that is that people lie. Everyone lies.
Yes.
So even if that were created,
how are they going to facilitate that?
Right.
Yeah.
And the only way to facilitate that would be severe like breaches of personal security,
punishment,
like privacy issues. Like you'd have to like have like some way of discerning, like similarly to how I think I know about this. I'm not saying that I do this, but I know about this. When it comes to creating content on Pornhub, the only way to do that is by showing them you have to show them like your driver's license, and you have to supply that information to them. So that would be the only way to really implement something of that nature on this kind of platform.
Same with Fansly.
Right.
You can only be a creator, and I honestly think anybody that goes to Fansly and makes an account has to put a license in. So
do you think that should become the norm?
Around about it. Yeah, I really do. Because there's too many kids out there that are getting taken advantage of. It's like, okay, your kids, like, there's that whole like, roundabout way of saying, like, yeah, it's not we're not here to babysit your kids, right? The internet's not your kid's babysitter, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you want to make a platform that's all ages, go right ahead. But you also need to keep those all ages safe, right? So you have your pros and your cons, but it's up to the community to really say, hey, you're a piece of shit, get off of here. You're sick.
Yeah, just to get the predators off.
Here's the proof.
Off the platform as a whole.
Yeah.
And
because I tell you what, if somebody was around my kids, you better believe that I would be running them down. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, you got protective mode, mama. But yeah, I do think it should be facilitated a lot more because, I mean, read the room. Like, that's all I have to say. There's more adults that play this game or platform than there are kids.
Well, age-wise, there are more adults, but there are plenty of children that parade around in adult bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. True. Like, a lot of us are seeing this as a business opportunity. We're sitting here talking, and you could be across the fucking world, but I'm sitting here and I can touch you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're seeing that there's a way to interact in VR, and that also makes a problem too. Like, it can be a really beneficial thing for people that are like wanting to see each other, that are like maybe in a relationship far away from each other or whatever. They all have their reasons, but it's also creating an issue for predators and kids, and then you have the adult content, and there's so many things to look at in VR. That's why it's like really different than any other thing. And that's why it's exploding, because it's so different.
Yeah.
And with different comes, like, you gotta facilitate. And I feel like they just need to facilitate this game better. And I think once they do, I think it'll be golden. But yes, you're right. People lie about their age. However, having that identification thing is not a really bad idea. Will it happen? Probably not. Because they'll probably lose a lot of shit. So then that's when it comes back to us. It's like, it's our responsibility as community, as people in the community. Oops, sorry. To, like, make sure everyone's, like, taken care of, kind of thing. Like, look out for one another, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, but like my like what I as much as I agree with you, I tend to believe that people like us are typically not spending time in public worlds very often, because we know that these people exist, because we know that they're kids that we don't want to interact with. So the people who are most capable of reporting these predators are not really engaging with those portions of VRChat. So, it's like, it would be very...
There's ways to report them.
Like? I'd like to hear an example.
There are ways, like... Well, okay, so, like... I don't know how to explain it. Like... I mean, everyone's got cameras, everyone's got pictures, everyone's got recording issues. Like, there's just so many ways to report it. It doesn't have to be, like... The more evidence that people can come up with, basically, the more we're like, hey, this is happening so much. Like, do something about it. Does that answer your question? Because I'm kind of ADD at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
fine. I'm just like I'm just want to, like, I'm just concerned that like I want to believe that people are inherently good, and that there will be people who would report these sorts of things, but generally speaking, I think people who would be inclined to report these sorts of things just aren't really engaging with them. I'm sure there are ways to, like, I'm sure there are ways to report these kinds of individuals, but like,
right.
It's so funny because, like, while thinking about this and while kind of like talking about this with you, like, I thought of something that is kind of outlandish and may not even make any sense, but But the obviously everyone knows how artificial intelligence has been around for a long time, but it's become extremely popular these days. The prospect of it from a business perspective. And
that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
I already know where you're going.
Yeah. So, like, utilizing the idea of artificial intelligence to basically I mean, it would be private. It would be private. I mean, it
Babysitter.
would essentially, but it would be like,
I think they already have that.
Like, I mean, it could be done like with different platforms. I guess different platforms could like utilize an AI space based on, I guess, like the computer itself. Maybe the operating system itself could be like have protective things built into it. I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to the parents, though. Like, you could like go turn to artificial intelligence, but I think, it I think parents need to be
yeah.
more aware of like what their kids are doing in the platforms that they're on. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's fucking responsibility but the parent. I will definitely say that. But shit happens.
Sure.
You can't watch your kid 24/7.
Of course.
And 3 hours is your kid's on fucking VRChat. That is an opportunity for a predator. And I don't like think everyone's a fucking predator, but it's just like talking about this whole safety situation and what just happened last week and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, it's on the forefront of my mind a little bit more than it probably would be typically, but
yeah. I do think that like you said, parents can't watch the kids 24/7. But if there were an AI, if there were a way that artificial intelligence could scrape the information and data that a person like uses, like their browser history, or the websites that they visit. I mean, that would be browser history, but like the games that they play, the people that they interact with. Like if there were again a huge privacy issue, this would need to be regulated to fucking kingdom come. But like having an artificial intelligence that could scrape all the information and ensure that like if someone may be lying about their age while trying to get on a platform, the artificial intelligence would essentially like stop them in their tracks. So it's very elaborate, but like that would be like the closest thing that I could get to possibly like automating the process of keeping kids safe and predators off platforms like VRChat.
I mean, they're not gonna that would be expensive as shit. They wouldn't
Yeah.
They're not making money off this game. It's a free game.
Of course, yeah. So...
But, I mean, they're making money off of the VRChat Plus, but that's about it.
Right. And actually, let's talk about, not VRChat Plus, but let's talk about the creator program that they're kind of working on at the moment. What are your thoughts about that as a content creator yourself?
I didn't even know they were doing that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, well.
No. That's news to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think they announced it maybe like last week, and I know there was a lot going on last week. So
I have them blocked. I have VRChat blocked.
Wait, really? Really? Why?
Yeah. Because of all the lewd stuff I do.
So you don't even follow them or anything. You just...
No.
Okay, I see. You're keeping
separate.
Yeah, you have to. So like they don't track you down and everything. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
I don't know anything about it. I honestly am just on here to create content. I don't really want to mix the whole VRChat thing with tying into myself type of thing. Like, I keep that totally separate for that reason, because they were attacking a lot of lewd content creators for a long time, and yeah, that was a bad idea. So
that is fair. There have been a number of questions that have been provided to me, and we're gonna do our best to kind of cover as much of them as possible, so we have time for other things too, because this isn't the end all be all, but it's a really important issue, and we're gonna talk about it. So I think that's really, really important for us to do. So let's do it. Hey there. This is me, Nepherti, here, and I am making a video about my Patreon that many of you may or may not know about. YouTube is still hitting me with copyright infringements. Obviously, I want to have music on my videos on YouTube, so they continue to hit me with copyright infringements. I am now affiliate on Twitch, so I do get support on Twitch now, so that has changed. But at the end of the day, Patreon still gives a larger cut. So at the end of the day, I want to just reinform you guys, many of you who may or may may not know, you can take a look at my Patreon right now actually, at patreon.com/Nepherti. It'll be right at the bottom underneath my boobs. And basically, it's a great way for you to support me aside from, Twitch. And that's pretty much all. Patreon is a great way for you to support me in a more direct way and also allows me to directly give back to you guys. I do give updates relatively regularly. So if joining me on the Patreon is something that you're interested in, you can do so starting for just $1. There are tiers in which I get to spend an hour with you one-on-one. It could be either on Discord or in VRChat. Whichever one you'd want, that's what we do. And I also do voice recordings also. There's the head pet tier, which is $1, the nuzzle tier, which is $5, the huggle tier, which is $10, the snuggle tier, which is for $20, and the uwu tier, which is for $30. So honestly, I didn't want to spend too much time on this video. I'm just kind of here, just being comfortable, whatever, but I just wanted to thank everyone who has already been a part of the Patreon up to this point. I truly want to give you my thanks for supporting me and allowing me to do what I do and, live in this nice cozy room, largely free of most noise, and just be able to create things that I really, really enjoy creating. And so I'm so grateful to everyone who has been a part of my Patreon up to this point, and I hope that anyone who is interested in more tangibly supporting me, this is a great way to do it. I'm looking to revamp Distortio, or DTX for short, and I'm also looking to do a little bit of other content. So I really am looking forward to the future. I'm so excited about what we're doing, and I look forward to what we can create together. See you next time. So there are a lot of people who I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who attended and all that, and
there was like 16,000 people.
That's fucking amazing. That's actually wild. That's so cool. Like,
wild.
That's nuts. I'm so impressed. I've never, again, I'm still very new to VRChat, so to have an event that has 16K people approximately is wild. So that's really cool to hear.
That's wild. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there was an individual who was brought to light to not be a very savory individual. There was a tweet that I believe were you the originator of the tweet? Okay, so okay. So after that tweet was put out, there were a number of responses, people like being on your side, people, not, and, time went on, people said their piece, and I think there were a lot of people who may have drawn their own conclusions based on the timing of the tweet. And again, I don't know very much about it. My role and what I would like to do is to get your side of things and to understand where you're coming from and how everything came to light and kind of fell like how the chips fell as they did. So
yeah, for sure. And I don't want to leave anyone in the dark about it.
Cool.
And that's also why I'm really glad, number one, that our podcast wasn't last week on Thursday, because I would have not been okay. I have not been okay since I posted that tweet. But it's not about me, number one. I have a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I want to make sure those questions definitely get answered. And I didn't think a tweet would have answered those. So I'm really glad that we're doing this today and that it's kind of settled a little bit more. Because, people, I posted the tweet and it got over 100,000 views. My arm's going crazy. So the reach on it was amazing. And that was my first and foremost motive, was to get this word out. So basically what happened was, I'll rewind as far back as I can and kind of summarize it so it's not too long of a story. But basically I met this person back in 2021 with their at the time girlfriend, and I liked both of them. Both of them were very amazing people. They seemed genuine, you know, really easy to like. And fast forward, you know, like several months later, we were all in the community together. We were all in a Discord server together, and out of nowhere, this person just disappeared. And I was like, where did he go? That's really weird. And they're like, oh, well, there was some allegations and all this stuff. I didn't know what was happening. And I talked to my friend who was dating him at the time, and I said, what happened? And she had informed me that there was some allegations against grooming. And I was very new to the community. I didn't know a lot of people. They were like my first like really close furry friends. And I didn't really have any like hard evidence at that time. I just trusted what she was saying because she was a friend of mine. And you know, fast forward to this day and age, I had reconnected with her over, like, you know, we had stayed in touch. I stayed in touch with her. He just kind of dropped off the face of the earth, and I never really had put much thought into him. I was creating my own content. I was doing my own thing. I kind of honestly forgot about it, to be quite honest with you. And several months ago, probably about, I don't know, 5 months ago or so, somebody had brought up the fact that I had commissioned somebody for an avatar and they never paid me back. And one of the people was in this group. And that was the last time I had ever interacted with that, you know, with those people, except for the girlfriend. The girlfriend was a close friend of mine. So, fast forward to today's day and age, she and I remained in contact, and we picked up a few days, like, you know, a few days before I made that tweet. And the day I had made that tweet, I had asked her about her mental health because she had been struggling. And she said she was okay, but she wasn't like, you know, great. And I had said, you know, whatever happened with that situation? Did he ever get found, like, for anything? And she said, no, I provided a whole bunch of stuff to the cops. I had made reports to the cops and whatnot. But nothing had ever come about in the forms of the community knowing. Like, people were taking his side or not taking his side, but nothing had ever, like, been publicly announced, right? So I said, I want to see what you have. Do you have anything about him doing this to that person, right? And she's like, yeah, I think somebody does have some things, right? Well, they got sent to me, and I was just like, are you fucking... That is... The way these things were worded was downright disgusting. And I had asked her permission. I said, do you mind if I post this? Because I think people need to see this. And this was the day I made the tweet. And I said, look, we had found out that he was actually leading Furality that day as well. I said, holy shit. I actually think he's leading I think he's one of, like, the big guys in Furality. I don't remember how I put that 2 and 2 together, but the whole entire thing clicked for me that second that we were talking about that. I was like, we need to get word out now. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's like Halloween or Christmas. Like, this guy people need to see this shit. This is fucked up. you know? And I had very rapidly made this tweet and was like, we need to change this. Like, this is not okay. This is not an okay thing to be doing. They had dealt with it privately beforehand back in 2021, and nobody did anything. So I felt like, because I had the platform that I did, and I have the audience range that I do, I felt it was my duty to share with people, this is not the person you see. These aren't things that are okay. And she had been groomed at like a pretty young age as well. She dated him like, I believe she was over the age, but he had started talking to her before she was 18. So there was my concern for that, and then also my concern for the person involved in the screenshot, that he was so young. And my mother instincts just kicked in, and I was like, these words are not okay. What he's saying right here is not okay. And he's leading Furality. He's leading new group members on VRChat. So I was determined to get this word out, and I didn't even care about anything but getting word out that he was, you know,
So this information
affecting lives.
Yeah. So what you posted was information that had been sent to the authorities.
Oh yeah, back in 2021.
So your friend said that this matter was resolved back then. It wasn't resolved.
It was never resolved.
Never resolved. It was never investigated.
No.
Essentially.
No.
Okay. And so
It was handed to the police. It was handed to the authorities, but nobody ever publicly in the fandom did anything about it.
Was he in the fandom back then?
Yes.
And okay, so
my concern.
Okay.
My concern was back in 2021, he had just disappeared. Once everything was out, and people were like, you know, doing sides, right? They were either on the victim's side or they were on his side. Once that word was out, he vanished. He disappeared. And then just recently, I guess like a year ago or whatever, I don't know, I had him blocked. He had returned. This is what I'm hearing over... I don't even know how I found out that he had returned. I don't remember. But he returned back into the fandom, and the day that I connected with her and found out he was leading Furality, that's when I was like, I need to fucking tell everyone. And I immediately after the tweet had got sent out, I told Furality themselves. I said, I messaged the leader of Furality, and I was like, please message me back right now. It's critical. They immediately did everything in their power. You know, they were marching around. It was like the day before Furality started.
Right.
And I felt fucking horrible, but I didn't want this man anywhere near anybody else anymore until he got the help he needed. You know? Like, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so I
know that that's kind of a lot to like let everybody sink in and know, like, you know,
like the background,
a little bit more of a backstory than just like posting a tweet and being like, please keep this community safe. Like there was more to it than that. Like they had already invested a lot of time in trying to get him taken down. But he was in Canada and they were in the United States.
Right.
So, like, I just wanted these people that were affected by him to heal and get, like, the closure that they deserved. Because, yeah, it's really fucking shitty to be in a position where you don't get that closure, you know? Like, that's not okay. And for, like, the fandom to not really do anything back then, we didn't really have the platform we do now with VRChat. Like, VRChat is a trending topic on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, that deserves to be blown out of the water. And now that I'm thinking, holy shit, I have the resources to do this, I could actually tell people, like, get this fucking loser out of here. Like, you know? No. And it wasn't necessarily even about, like, canceling someone. It was just, like, it was just the fact of, like, the things that he was saying. And it was disgusting to say that, you know? So, I don't know if that, like, answers, because all of a sudden I'm, like, I'm really trying hard not to jump subjects and, like, keep it pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, the starting with the backstory.
Calm my ADD down and, like.
I think that's a good kind of baseline to kind of move into, like, the questions I think people have had. So we can definitely do a little bit of that.
Sure.
Yeah. So. We'll just start. Why wasn't more effort made to censor the people's names that were and that were posted in the tweet, like the image in the tweet?
Yeah, that's a really valid concern. Like, at the time that I had posted that tweet, I was in panic mode to get this out. I should have taken a lot more time to censor the one name that I should have censored first, was the victim's name. And I apologized directly to him for that, because I felt horrible that I didn't do that. I was in a rage of panic to get this person out. And yeah, that is completely my bad that I didn't do that.
Yeah, I can understand, you know, being like with Furality right on the cusp of happening. I can certainly understand, like, the hurriedness of it, like the immediacy that you wanted to kind of take that step to kind of, like, just get the ball rolling as quickly as possible. So, because you knew it was you had this feeling that it was very, very serious. So I can understand.
Yep.
So, well, actually, I actually have a question myself. Why not contact Furality first before making the tweet?
I didn't. It was more or less spreading the word. It was more or less not to do any, like, damage per se. It was more or less like, guys, get this fucker out of the community. It wasn't Furality itself. That was a portion of it. it was more or less to get him out of there completely. So regardless if I contacted Furality first or second, it was more or less getting his name out there to everybody I could think of. You know, I don't know. It was within seconds, honestly, that I posted the tweet. That my tweet was even up 5 minutes before I contacted Furality. So, like, it was pretty instantaneous after I did the tweet to, you know, contact Furality. It wasn't, and the tweet wasn't about like, ooh, boo hoo Furality. It was more or less caution. This person is involved with Furality. We're working on it. Like I'm you know, it wasn't anything bad about it even being associated with Furality. It was more or less the name affiliated, so to speak. And I wanted Furality to get them the fuck out of there. You know, it wasn't like those things isn't really. I think, yeah, looking back on it now, it looks like this person's in charge of Furality, but that wasn't even in the back front of my, like, it wasn't even like part of the deal. Like, it was just more or less to spread his name everywhere. You know? Yeah. Get the word out.
So, like, this individual being leading Furality had no bearing on your actions. It was simply the matter of his actions prior that motivated you. So like, you know, you know, with the removal of a individual who's leading Furality, you know, that would obviously cause, you know, a fair bit of chaos. You know, planning the event, because they would be losing a person. Yeah. Not giving that person any sort of justification for their actions, because they seem like they were very, very not kosher at all. So, but just kind of just stating facts.
He was okay. You know. Let me specify. He was a lead ambassador.
Okay.
I don't even know what the fuck that means, but he was involved in there somehow. So like. I didn't do a lot of research. I didn't find out who he was. I was just like, I know he's in it somehow. And I was more or less notifying, hey, Furality, this person is here. Please look out. It wasn't Furality sucks, boycott Furality. It was, hey, pay attention here. You've got 70 million fucking people in your Discord. Like, it's our job as a community to speak out and say, hey, check it, you know, like, I guess I could have just deleted, if I wanted to backtrack, I should have been like, this person is involved in the community itself. I could have left Furality's name out of it completely, but I didn't think. I was panicking. I was like, oh my god, Furality's this weekend. He's a big part of Furality. Holy fuck, we need to get him out of here. That's where my brain was at the time.
Gotcha.
So it was just more panic mode, like, than anything, truly. You know, emotions were high. I was trying to make sure that these people were feeling validated and heard, finally, after 2 years. Like, that was my main goal, was to just get it out of there.
So, why, I guess... The question of why didn't Furality vet their users better? Well, I mean, obviously, like, the questions regarding Furality as a whole, it's not as if you are a part of Furality's staff. You're simply a person who cares about the convention and the people attending and the safety of said people. So it wouldn't make much sense for you to have an answer with regards to, like, why Furality didn't do X or did do Y. There's no way that you could really answer for them.
They did it as quick as they could. They literally got rid of him as fast as they could. But they had all discussed. They literally, okay, this is what I heard, that the Furality team didn't even deal with it. That HR did. They did an extensive investigation on him.
Before or after?
Which makes me feel fucking great.
Well, did it
happen? They did an extensive
Oh, did the investigation happen before or after you informed them?
After the tweet, Furality passed the message on to HR. And HR did an investigation on the whole entire thing.
Okay.
Including him. So they weren't just like, okay, we'll get this, you know. They were actually like really good about it. So I'm glad that it went down the way it did because, you know, like, yeah, we got him out. Like, that was my main concern. Like, we need him out. Like, he needs to get help. That's the thing. It's like, as much as I hate seeing people out, somebody like that does not deserve to be in. And, you know, I know there's a lot of questions that you need to ask, but I just feel like it's really crucial to also say that there are a lot of people that are curious to know, like, there's no fucking way he would do such a thing. Like, trust me, I was friends with him. I knew how great of a person he seemed. But people that groom other people don't tend to look like an enemy. And all I want is for these people that are victimized by this man, and who knows, maybe there's more that need to come forward. Hopefully not. But I can almost imagine there might be. That they get the courage to see this, and they do, because they know that people are backing on them. And that's all I really give a shit about. You know, people can wonder all they want, but I know I have good intentions, but it's hard to like justify that when you can only see so much. And I feel like that's why a podcast is really great timing. Just to kind of clear the air and talk about it.
I agree.
Because I have nothing. There's nothing to hide. I will answer questions like as much as people need to hear, like, hey, it's totally justified. Like, I fucked up. I didn't even think to X somebody's name out, and I apologize for that. And we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna get this person, you know, closure. I might be rambling. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. So for people who may not know, would it be possible to kind of briefly give a brief overview of the contents of what you shared? Because it sounded like there were a number of evidence that your friend had given to the authorities beforehand, but you only shared maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was only one image of however much there was. Was there more than one image?
There was 3 images, I believe.
Okay.
I'd have to go look at the tweet, but it is. I honestly, this weekend was really difficult for me. I had this stuff happen to me when I was 16, and so I experienced a lot of PTSD for myself. So reading those images were not good for me. But if somebody is curious, they can go to my Twitter.
Fair. All right. So it seems that there have been people who have wondered that your chosen actions, like actually a lot of what you've said, for what it's worth, a lot of what you've said has answered a lot of the questions that have been asked. So a lot of the backstory stuff has really like answered a lot of those questions already. But there are some people who have believe that the timing, which again, you had no control over, you received that information. We now know it was like literally like the day, like very close to Furality. It's not as if you had the information beforehand or that you had it earlier. It was shown to you 48 hours before the convention started.
No, it wasn't even that. It was probably 2 hours.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Before the convention.
Yeah, before the convention. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
As soon as I got the information, I posted the tweet.
Right.
To be fair.
Okay.
I was like, I am not waiting 1 second. This is this weekend. I need to hurry up. Like, it couldn't go faster. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, there are people, people who've had questions, believe that your actions were meant in malice. Like, they wonder why, like by doing this, it was meant to potentially ruin Furality for people, which clearly, to me, does not seem to be the case. But people are free to ask their questions, and to me, I think it's crystal clear that you had good intentions. It was not meant to blow up Furality or to make it a less of a pleasant time for people. But I think maybe clarifying it a little bit would be good.
I can understand. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. But to be fair, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I wanted this community safe as my goal. It wasn't to ruin anything. It wasn't to, like, be vindictive. It was, oh my god, this was never dealt with. These people were never justified in any sense. And I didn't care about anybody's, like, I honestly didn't even correlate the two together as ruining someone's adventure. Like, for fuck's sake, I would never do something to ruin someone's adventure. I am trying to protect someone. I am trying to protect the future adventures of VRChat and people in the community, in the fandom, rather than an event. I didn't even highlight the event in my brain. I was just like, oh my god, he's affiliated, and that's where it stopped. It wasn't like, I'm going to I'm going to... No, it was all out of good intention. It happened to be this weekend. It happened to be that we were catching up in a phone call, and that I happened to put the two and two together. It's actually quite sad that people would put an event over someone's dreaded 2 years. Like, you think this person took a child's fucking adolescence, and you're concerned about a fucking event. Like, I understand you have a question, but kind of think about your morals there, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, like,
yeah,
you're literally
there's
talking
a broader
about somebody's
picture.
childhood. Yeah, like, I get it, but fuck, man, like, that's some weird fucking viewpoint. Like, I'm here to ruin your VR experience or whatever. Like, I am not here to ruin anybody's VR experience. I'm here to help somebody. Like, I'm here to, like, make sure this guy gets the fuck out of here, you know? And what is my main concern? Or, like, what would make this so much more closure, I think, for the people involved, is getting him to not fucking run. Like, he doesn't deserve to run. This community doesn't deserve for him to run. He deserves to face up and come out of running. Stop hiding behind fake accounts and say, look, I did this. I'm gonna get help. Because you can run all you want, but it's just gonna get tiring. Get yourself some real help. Involve yourself in a real therapy session, you know, inpatient. Do all of that stuff. Get yourself better. Don't just dive and disappear. And doesn't that get old? Like, just face up and say, yes, I did this mistake. I'm gonna go get some help for this. And people are like, oh, it's been 2 years. People change. No fucking way, man. An extensive program like that to better yourself, and there's no way in 2 years you can do an extensive program to change your fucking mannerisms about if you, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent because it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me.
So the fact that you're even attempting to look at it from his perspective is, in my opinion, laudable, because you went through that. You've encountered an individual who did that to you.
It was my own grandpa.
Yeah, when you were younger. So the fact that you're even like saying like he should go get help, you should stop running, is, to me, like, I don't think most people would say that. I don't think most people would give a shit. I think most people would be like, yeah, he could die in a ditch for all I care. Like, but you're saying that like your intentions were to, one, remove this individual from the furry community and from Furality, you know, just out of that arena, and two, for this individual to, you know, come, like, have a moment of clarity and get some help for what he's done, and to fess up to his own actions and the truth of how he's hurt people, how he's affected people's lives. And yeah, like, to me that seems very, very respectable, very mature. I can't imagine most people having that perspective. But I know you've said many times that you're straight
that
shooting.
It was me that. Yeah, I'm just. At the end of the day, these are people with real lives. Like, this person had a real life. This kid had, like, his childhood ripped out. And it's only fair that they don't get to be able to do that again. And the only real way that they don't get to be able to do that again is if they get help. Like, running doesn't give them help. Disappearing, like, okay, if a person's changed in 2 years, why are they up and running and deleting their Twitter? Why are they making a different account on VRChat? This is all the stuff he's done since getting outed. So if he's not guilty, why the fuck is he running? Why is he deleting everything? Why is he doing these things? If I was if I was posted about, ain't no fucking way I'd be running. I'd be fighting that shit. I'd be like, no way did I do that. You're out of your mind, or can we talk right now? Like, that would be my reaction, right? Instead of deleting everything and all that bullshit and putting it on himself. Like, I went through, you know, the manipulation that I had heard him encounter after the tweet was sent was that, oh, I had been through so much and I changed so much. And what about the victims? How much did they change? Like, if you are truly better and you try to get help, what about these victims that are affected? Like, where's their chance to heal? And so that's just what it comes down to. Like, I don't I don't have a malicious intent. I don't have, like I said, I genuinely liked the guy when I met him and I was friends with him. I never really got the closure that I never really understood why he left. And then I found out why he left. And I was never really shown anything about why he left. And then 2 years later, there's the evidence. And I was like, why hasn't this been outed? So, there is also a video of him grooming this person. It is not actual, like, porn, if you will, but it is definitely him grooming this person. And it is like stereotypical 101 how not to groom a child. Like, it is disturbing.
So, okay. That is quite disturbing. I'll say that much. That there's the video evidence as well. So, again, to continue the line of questioning that has been, presented, there's a person or people who ask, why are you not attempting to mitigate damage to the fandom? In my opinion, that wasn't like I don't think there was meant to be damage done. Like, I think that question comes from a place of their feelings towards Furality, and perhaps, maybe the influence that person had in the community and how that may have affected them and maybe other people. It may not be based in or grounded in the perspective of, hey, this person actually, has done some pretty gross things to people. So, what are your thoughts on that question? Those are mine.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
but
I don't either.
I don't really have anything. I don't really know how to answer that. I'm just kind of existing. I don't really have malicious intent to, like, the fandom or anything. I'm just trying to. If anything, it's like I'm here to protect the fandom. Like, what the fuck, like.
Exactly. Yeah.
How is outing someone as a pedophile like malicious? I don't get that, but whatever.
Yeah, I do think that question comes from a place of just not. They don't have a clear awareness of, everything that's transpired and the people who have been harmed and the potential people that may have been, not exactly, able to people who won't be able to engage with that individual now that they have been removed from, at least for the time being, and hopefully, for the long term, given their actions. And you mentioning that there was video evidence of this grooming taking place is that much more convincing, and your actions seem that much more justified. All things considered, I think that you did what you believed was right, and based on the facts and the proof presented, it made sense to have the best interest of the people who are attending this event in mind. You had their best interest in mind, and I hope that people who have heard your perspective on it will walk away with a better understanding of like what exactly your intentions were, to like get your intentions out on the table. Because again, social media is horrible. It has a way of people drawing their own conclusions, because your people are not ever getting the whole story. They get a bit of it, and then they immediately connect their own dots without asking questions.
And then Twitter is like, sorry, you can only answer this in 45 words, so
right.
So then you need to do a twit launcher. And I thought about that, and I'm like, I am not a texter. You can ask any of my friends, I will not text. I have that little button, that little record button, which a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually record, or you can actually speak and record if you hold it up. That is me. I use that all the time because I don't want to text. I'm too lazy. I don't want to sit there and do this. I want to talk. So, yeah, no, that shit ain't for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else? Again, a lot of your backstory and the things that you talked about, how you explained those aspects were, it allowed a lot of those questions to already be answered simply by you discussing them. Is there anything else, anything that you want to like say, like to kind of wrap everything up?
I mean,
I think you've said your piece.
Like,
but
it's time to move forward. Like, it's, I don't want my content to be about other people and what's happening. So why I would put this on my content is for a definite reason. I don't like drama. I don't fucking affiliate with drama. But this shit was real. And it really happened, and it really took place. And somebody was really affected. Somebody, number one, close to me that I'm a friend with, and number two, another minor. There was, people are gonna have questions, and I don't have the ability to answer each and every one of those. But no, it was not a malicious intent. It was purely out of, like, I need to get this word out. But since then, I have, along with PTSD of my own issues, I've been harassed. I've had people treat me differently. I've not been okay this week. It's been a really hard week dealing with this because of my own past trauma. But that just makes me want to talk about it even more and say it is super critical to come forward if you're like victimized by somebody. I don't give a fuck if they're popular. I don't give a fuck if this guy was part of Furality. I don't care. He could be the #1 streamer. If he did you wrong, if somebody does you wrong, you talk about it. And that's the thing, is people are either gonna look at it as heroic or they're gonna take defense. And I've had both sides. And I'm like, wow, you guys definitely didn't know me then, because if you think that I was gonna be malicious and use my content to talk about some drama that's not real, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to make good content. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to have fun, meet you people as you. Like, we just became these friends. Like, I don't plan on talking about this much more. But I definitely want these people to be able to be like, fuck yes, he's finally getting what he deserves. And hopefully, like I said, he doesn't run, he doesn't create a new profile and make this new facade of himself like he did before. But he actually faces and says, I'm sorry, I did this to you. here's what I've done for myself to better myself and not victim shame. You know? And that's what I truly hope that will happen, is like he does get help and these victims like feel like they've been justified. And case closed. Like, let's move on. Because everyone deserves to be fucking happy, especially the people that have gotten their lives, like, you know, their childhood taken from them. So, yeah, it is refreshing to talk about because it's been all week for me. And it's not been easy. But that is what makes this community even stronger. Is that you can say, like, hey, if you need somebody to trust, it's Sillymomm. Or whatever, you know, like, there's no malicious intent with me. I am here to protect people. I am a lewd motherfucker, but I am also 43 years old and I deserve to be lewd. And I will definitely not be lewd with somebody that's younger. Like, that is where the line is crossed. That becomes a sickness. And that's all I really want to say about it. Like, I hope I answered as many questions as people had. I had somebody literally go through a bunch of people and being like, hey, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? What do you want to know? And that's where the questions came from. So I was like, I want people to understand that I have nothing to hide. Yeah. I'm not running. I'm not deleting my Twitter. I'm here to help. Like, so I think with all the harassment, I'm a little bit more on the, like, serious side. I've kind of lost my mojo this week of NSFW stuff because of all this. I haven't posted anything. I haven't wanted to. It's been a gross week, but hopefully the reward is a safer community, you know, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I can be wholesome for a week. Then I can return to my deviant self. Hello, I'm wholesome. That's a lie.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we should talk about that. I know you've lost your mojo this week, and like, obviously I can certainly, like, understand that. But let's talk about the stuff that you do.
Bringing my mojo back?
When you do have your mojo. Yeah. So.
Okay, there's one person that brings a lot of mojo back, and that's Tico with his Spanish. I will just say that right now.
Well, now that I've been outdone.
No. Okay, all right. So the NSFW stuff, right, is like, it is such a fun venture, but I'm also super fucking confused of where I want to go with it. Like, I've discovered, like, the whole collab thing, I don't know if I want to do it. It just feels weird. It really does.
Can you talk
weird.
Can you talk
because
more
I'm
about
demisexual, so I need to, like, have a connection with people. I can't just, like, go do things with people I hardly know.
I would imagine so, yeah.
And so that's tricky as an NSFW content creator. It's fucking difficult because I spent over a year. No. August will be a year when I started Fansly. I have literally done one collab live. The rest I've done maybe 4 videos with other people. The rest have been all solo. That shit is boring as fuck doing solo. Let me tell you. There's only so much you can do solo.
Yeah, I've heard stories. I've heard stories. I know
It's hard.
I know a person or two who's actually has done a little bit. And yeah, I imagine like the solo stuff can get pretty dull because like you only have yourself to work with.
It's so tricky. Yeah, and then like, okay, let's just talk logistics here, right?
Yeah.
Can I say the word dildo?
Yes, we're far enough in.
Okay.
No pun intended.
All right, so you have a dildo
Yeah.
that's attached to your hand, right? This shit is not easy to fuck yourself. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's like, yeah. I shouldn't probably. I forgot we're on Twitch. Hi. We're
No,
canceled.
it's
Sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. I'm sure.
How
we'll be
did
fine.
Nepherti get? Sillymomm said the word vagina, no wait. Sorry, I didn't say that word. Whatever.
No, they're not gonna come after me. I'm just a creator. I'm not even an affiliate. So like, if they come after me, they really have nothing better to do with their time. So like, I'm not
I
even.
said the word vagina. Can I even say that word? We're talking about stuff. I don't even know.
You can.
Whatever.
You can. Yeah, we're not
Oopsie.
doing this stuff. We're just talking about it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Twitch. I don't fucking care about you. You suck.
So the logistics of NSFW stuff, you said with collabs, obviously that can be very, very tricky because the majority of the NSFW stuff is
weird.
like with people that you're just paired with them and then you just do stuff. Usually like more traditional porn.
Yeah. But I gotta have some type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because if I don't vibe, the chat's not gonna vibe. Like, if I'm not feeling horny, they're not gonna feel horny.
Fair. Absolutely.
If I don't feel sexy, they're not.
Chat's gotta feel
what I'm
sexy.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm horny, they're horny. Like, that's how you make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, the only way you can know is, all right, let me tell you a little bit about being a barber. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears for just a second as an analogy.
I did want to know about this, by the way.
I was taught in beauty school that if you're gonna give a good shampoo, the way you find a good shampoo is if you go get your hair shampooed. It's same for NSFW stuff. If you're creating content and you don't got that flow, nobody gonna have that flow too. So if the flow's not there, nobody gonna flow. And you need to flow to make that money grow. I just rap.
Hey, it's true. It's true. It is what it is. It is what it is. I said this. I said this really funny thing like a while ago. Like, if nobody's watching, nobody's in your chat. If nobody's in your chat, you're not making any money.
It's the way business is.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's true.
If you really want to make this a business, this is logistics here. Like, I've never been the one to look at my numbers, but I tell you what, if that shit's hot, those numbers are gonna be bopping.
So I've noticed. I've certainly have seen, a number of creators, create some very steamy stuff.
You see mine?
I mean,
have you seen mine? No, you seen it? Oh, no.
I mean, that would involve me having to go to Fansly, right? Because I look at your Twitter.
That's a bad no-no. That's a bad no-no for Twitch. That's a bad no-no.
Oh,
that name is no-no here.
That's true, but I'm not advertising.
That is
I'm
my
not.
no-nos.
I'm not advertising Fansly. We're just talking about it. It exists. It exists.
Don't say the word.
Yeah.
It's a TOS. Oh God! Don't ban her, please. Please don't ban her. She's really nice.
I don't think Twitch will ban me. I don't think so. But in all seriousness, I haven't gone to your Fansly, but I have known that you do it. Like I keep an eye. I say this a lot.
Yeah.
People know I pay attention. I pay attention a lot. I may not hang around with people a lot, but I pay a very close attention, more than people think.
I wouldn't really want to know, honestly though, if you've seen my stuff. I think it'd be weird. Like, even though I know I do it, I don't want to know who's seen it.
That's fair. That is fair. I mean, yeah, like I've only seen your stuff on Twitter, and maybe I've popped in here or there, We'll leave that, to the imagination, but but like, okay, so when it comes to that kind of content, like I guess how do you get into the mood? And like well, we'll start with there. Like, how do you get into the mood? And like, how does that, like, how do you kind of
chat
come up
helps
with stuff?
that.
Oh, really? You involve chat in
So-
your you know, your
If I'm live
getting the motor
streaming, yeah.
going?
I mean, it depends, really. I'm still trying to figure that part out. Like, I've only gone live, like, maybe 3 times since August. But the lives are fucking fun. Like, when this whole Twitch thing went down, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to fans. I'm going to family. I don't give a fuck. That shit's 80% in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, there's like, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about a nip slip. There's nothing you need to worry about over there. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
So, okay.
I just said it completely.
You just blanked out.
Blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I was like, what the fuck was I talking about?
All right.
Oh.
So sometimes you use chat, but it sounds like the majority of the content that you make is not live. It's it's more so
Right.
stuff that you're creating. Like, is it still
Oh,
images,
yeah.
videos? Like, what are you?
Both.
What are you?
It's both.
Okay.
I've been really bad with my videos lately. Yeah, oopsie. But like, it's both. It's pictures and video. But like, how we get in the mood is you're talking about? I mean, it's generally ERPing. So I'm just generally ERPing with somebody I'm close to.
Okay. So.
And then I edit it and record it, or record it and edit it.
Okay. So it sounds like there aren't many people that you are comfortable ERPing with.
Nope. The choices are slim. Very particular.
I see.
And I think that's due to because I'm demisexual.
Which, again, you know, like you being like very shy in person, you know, very hermit oriented, you know, I would imagine the whole aspect of doing, you know, NSFW content would be difficult.
Lewd content creation?
Yeah, it would be difficult to create.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. But they enjoy it. I mean, I'm getting great responses from it.
But do you enjoy it?
I totally love it. It's so much fun. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. I wouldn't do it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So, tell
I'm
me.
just very like.
Oh.
I'm very particular on who I do it with, and it's like, how much solo stuff can you possibly do?
Not very much. Not very
Truly.
much, I would imagine. Yeah. Like, I will say that there has been a time where I almost almost got involved with some like actual like porn related stuff. You know, you know, a couple of years ago, almost ended up doing a little bit of that myself. But the thing about it was that it wasn't by choice. Like, it was something like I was actually like really like low on money. Like, I was desperate. So I almost ended up going into doing sex work because, you know, I thought, well, if I can't find a job, then I might as well just do sex work, you know, because maybe I'd be good at it, kind of thing.
But is VRChat really sex work? Do you think?
I mean,
like, do you consider? I don't know, because
it's a weird situation.
When it comes down to it, we're all masturbating. And who doesn't love a good masturbation?
That's
I'm sorry, but
that's true.
It is healthy too.
Yeah. But we wear these avatars. Like, I imagine people choose their avatars based on their own desire of appearance. And I think people wear certain avatars because they feel hot.
I don't want to be yellow. But yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And you know, it's like there's so many ways you can look at it, but in the retro scheme of things, I am having a blast. It's just difficult to find someone I am connected with, that I trust, that to produce the content. And I guess it's like, I don't typically want to be one of those that have a lot of different people on my content. I feel like maybe people want to connect with the other person as well. I don't fucking know. So this is a whole new world, because I typically do all of my content myself. I do the Twitter content all myself. So involving someone else in the fancy stuff, it's like you gotta be really creative. There's also ideas to involve the chat, or, you know, take the camera and make them the one I'm
the POV stuff
pleasing. So it's like, I can get creative, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want to be creative with that stuff, if that makes sense. Like what route I want to go.
What would be the most ideal situation in terms of your, like, how, like if you could create any scenario of NSFW content, what would be the most ideal method that you'd like to do that, if you could, and if you had unlimited options?
Oh god, I don't know. Like, just, I want to be different. I don't want to be like every other person doing VRChat porn. I want to be unique and offering something different. And that's what I've always gone for. Because that is what content creation is. Like, this isn't TikTok. We are not replicating. We are content creators on
you're creating, not curating.
Whatever. So whatever it is, like, I as long as they're saying that looks really good, or holy shit, that's hot, I'm doing something right. What that is, I don't know yet. Once I find it, I will go gusto on it. Trust me. Because when I get into something, I get into it hardcore. But I'll find my way. I just don't know where it is yet.
Gotcha. Can you, for people who may be unfamiliar, can you explain what is, like, I guess, what is, like, the typical stuff that you would see in VRChat in terms of you know, NSFW content? Because you said you don't want to be like everyone else. So what constitutes being like everyone else, and what would be unique in your opinion?
Okay, so for everyone that I've seen, like all the VRChat porn, right? I just see featuring this week. Just like this rotation of people, right? I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a rotator porn.
You don't want to have a special guest of a new person you're fucking every week?
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be different. I want to create something unique that's still fucking hot, but it's different, and they still get off from it, because that's the main goal, right? You're trying to make somebody satisfied. So If I can find that in myself to satisfy myself, then somebody I know is going to find that hot, because that shit's hot. If you see somebody letting loose and they're feeling good, that is hot. And so whatever that may be, whatever niche I find, I'm going to get it and I'm going to go for it. Because there's no holds barred when it comes to NSFW stuff. You don't have to watch your P's and Q's. You can go for it. That's what I really like about the freedom. Because I look good. I mean, look at my avatar. I have great underboob.
All by design. It's all by design.
All by design.
We all have a means of looking our very, very best in VRChat, and it's kind of wild.
Hot in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all hot. You're all hot. Everyone's hot.
Yeah. And how does that affect, if at all? How would that affect your perspective, if at all, on like connecting with people? If everyone is hot, unless you're memeing in VRChat, like how do you kind of define
physically
that?
Speaking,
Yeah.
I am much more about the person than what they're wearing. Like, you could be a really small ant on the ground, and if you have a rad personality, I would really connect with you. I would love that ant. I would think that ant is the cutest fucking ant. So to me, it's about personality. But looks-wise, we all look good. Everyone looks great until they open their mouths.
Right.
So you're just talking about looks. Hey, there's a sea of great-looking avatars out there. I've also seen some really ugly ones, but there's mostly, like, this isn't real life, so we can formulate exactly our perfect, whatever that is, you know?
Yeah, persona.
Yeah, or anything, really. There's some great-looking humans out there, too, with jiggle butts.
True.
Jiggle boobs. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
They all jiggle.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good jiggle?
I think everyone likes good jiggle. I think that's kind of definitely a given.
I do.
Does
Yeah, I'm always about that jiggle, you know? I want my stuff to jiggle even more. In fact, one of my so I have two people that work on my avatar.
Okay.
I have one that does my texture and one that does my clothing. I am such a pain in the ass to work with. I am such a perfectionist. I need good pussy. Oh, can I say that? I need good assets, okay? I cannot be on Fansly with a shitty ass rack. Like, I can't. I gotta have boobs that look good, and I gotta have the undercarriage that looks good. And ain't nobody gonna see some wadded up chewed bubblegum, you know, for boobies. Like, they want that real good prima donna shit. And I got two people working on my stuff, right? They think I'm a I know that they like me, but they think I'm a fucking nightmare. But when it comes down to it, it's really all about the artist, right? It's all about your avatar maker and how well you pay them. And the shit's not cheap. And so the more people I have coming in to support me, the better my shit can look for me to do better things, or adding those assets, or adding that little dildo that sticks on the ground that I can actually not have to hold, or like all that shit adds up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, it's not just the actual people that I'm doing the content with. It's also about the avatar itself and how good everything looks. And it's a lot, but it's so fun. It's expensive, but it's so fun. Like, my cord is wrapped around my chair.
Oh, be careful.
But I am kind of getting tired. I know it's like we are. There's a. I'm an old lady, and it's 11:30 for me. So I mean, if it's cool with you, we could wrap up here. And I'm so fucking tangled. Hold on, let me see what's going on here.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
That is totally fine. I think I did have one more question about like your content stuff, but
Yeah.
like does your appearance as does your desire to formulate, you know, an avatar that fits what you like, does that affect your personal perspective about like how you look in reality? Does that affect your, does that
No.
make you feel like weird about how you look in
No,
real
no.
life?
I can separate them. No, I can separate them. It's more or less like what I want to see for this character.
Okay. So you're looking at more so of like the character, not so much as like your
Absolutely.
idealized version of yourself.
No, the only thing I am very picky on are the boobies and the other stuff, and then the clothing. So pretty much everything.
Fair.
And then I was like, the only thing that and then this. Okay, so pretty much everything. But yeah. No, it has nothing to do with my IRL self. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, I would have these boobs because I don't have these boobs. Or, no, I got plenty of boobs, IRL. I don't make my butt bigger because I have a flat butt. Like, it's not like that. It's more or less like, how does this avatar look proportioned in those clothes? That kind of thing.
Gotcha. So, okay. So, I do have just one more question, and we can wrap up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So where do you see where would you like to be? Where would you like to be? We'll say 2 years from now. Like you've made a partner. You're making.
I want to be rolling in money.
Don't we all? I mean, don't we all?
I want to just roll.
I think everybody wants that. But like, I mean, your
so big.
Your partner, you have people who love your content. You know, you're happy doing what you're doing. I imagine your kids don't really mind it or care. So like
my kids know nothing about NSFW stuff at all. I keep that super under wraps.
Good on you.
They are almost 18 years old though. I'm sure they have Google searched my fucking name. I doubt it. But like I said, everything is paid wall. They're protected.
Yeah.
Ain't no way they're gonna see that stuff. Like, I am not about that. I'm not about to expose. You know, I try to keep it very, very separated, but it's, you know, it is the fucking internet. And yeah.
So where would you like to be 2 years from now? I know you said rolling in money, but like, you know. Like,
sorry, I went off the ADD topic. I don't honestly know. I can barely decide what I want to eat for tomorrow's breakfast, so I'm not too sure. I just know I want to have fun doing it, because if I'm having fun, people are having fun watching me have fun, because that's what it's about, right? You're providing content, but you also don't want to look like you're hating it. And that's another thing is I don't stream all the time because I want to keep that fun alive. I notice the people that stream every day aren't fun. They don't seem fun, at least to me. They seem like they're doing it for a job. And I don't ever want this to be feeling like a job.
Even though
I want
technically
this to feel fun. I have never had that mindset though. Even in barbering and cosmetology, before that I worked, I can't say for where, but I don't want to dox myself, but I worked for really cool jobs. I've always had really cool jobs. And that's what I've always wanted to do ever since I was little, is have a cool job that I liked, that I wanted to be there. Because it didn't feel like working to me. It felt like passion. You know, with hair, I was an educator for shops. I was passionate about it, and I'm passionate about this stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. You know, so I do not have any clue where I want to see myself in 2 years. I just want to be happy, wherever that may be.
Yeah, nice. I like that answer. So, yeah. Good stuff. Good shit. We did it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Silly, for coming on, talking with me. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you. I'm hoping that people learned things about you. Yeah, it was absolutely a great time. I hope people learned things about you that they didn't know before, and hopefully have a better picture of you as an individual. Obviously, you have the character Sillymomm, but you're also, a human being with feelings and desires and thoughts. And I think more people understanding that about you, that you're not just, your NSFW content, I think is very, very important. I'm hoping that people, have even more, support of you now that they will have a chance to know who you are. And the earnest and the love that you have for what you do and, for people in general. So thank you for taking the time.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, of course.
Where can people find you? Where can people find you?
Right here. Come on over here.
No, this is my spot. This is for me.
Wait, this isn't a casting couch? Or no.
I mean,
I was kidding. You can find me on Twitter. It's Sillymomm, but with a 0. Don't ask. And then you can also find me on Twitch, Sillymomm with a 0. Wait. I don't fucking know.
I think it's just a no.
I don't even know what
I think on
what time is it?
On Twitch, I think it's just a no. No, not a 0.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so. I think it's a 0.
I checked when
I think it's a 0.
I checked when I made my title for the stream. I'm pretty sure it's just an O.
Yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't a 0.
I don't think so. I don't know. Just don't find me. Okay. It's fine. They don't need to find me. I'm really not that great, okay? Just find you instead.
No. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. They need to know where they can find their
You can find me at I don't know. Just don't find me. Don't.
Well, with that said,
it's too much work. It's 11:30 at night. I'm tired. Don't find me.
That is fair. Totally reasonable. All right, so guys, where you can find me, because I kind of want you to find me because I'm just a small timer. I'm just a small timer, so please find me. Please find me. So you can find me here on Twitch. My name is Nepherti. It'll be down here below. Same thing with Sillymomm. I'll be sure to put it down below for her as well. Nepherti on Twitch. I'm also Nepherti on Twitter. And those are with 2 eyes. And I'm Nepherti on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're already there. So congratulations. You can find me there with just 1 eye. And also, if you want to keep up with the podcast and news and updates, you can follow the podcast Twitter, which is Sweet Awking Podcast. Again, that'll be down below where my boobies are. You can find us at Sweet Awking Podcast because I can only put in 1 T. So Sweet Awking Pod. Sweet Awking Pod, actually. There we go. Yeah. That's where you can find updates for the podcast. And by this time, my Patreon will be launched, so you can also support me on my Patreon if you're interested. That'll be down below. Obviously, the rewards will be there depending on where you want to subscribe. So, feel free to check that out if that's something you're into. If not, just subscribe to YouTube. Would love to have you as a part of my community, as well as, follow me on Twitch and all that stuff. And of course, please, do follow Sillymomm, do follow her, do support her content, let her know that she's doing good shit.
You guys don't need to.
let her know that she's doing good stuff. So, absolutely, please go support her. And this was really great. This is a great time, and I hope
It was fun.
I hope we can do it again. I hope we can have another talk sometime in the future. That'd be pretty awesome. And maybe not on the podcast. Well, obviously, probably not on the podcast. But, if on the podcast, maybe. But maybe on a Saturday or something. But yeah, I hope we can hang out sometime and chill. That'd be cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right, so for those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast. I've been your host, Nepherti, with Sillymomm, and I sincerely hope that you will tune in for future episodes. As always, all of the episodes are in the playlist for the Sweet Talking Podcast, so you can see all of the episodes in the playlist. So find that and you'll be able to find all the episodes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.